Three, two, one, go. And we're live in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Let's get ready to go live in 5, 4, 3, 2. All right, all right, all right. All right, all right, all right. How y'all doing out in Happy Land tonight? Y'all good looking sexy people. Let's get ready to go live in 5, 4, 3. Take a deep breath. Hold it for a moment and command yourself to relax. Welcome back, Wayfarer, Wizard, Warrior, Wanderer, and Wildcat alike, wherever you are, whoever you are, and whenever you may be receiving this transmission. Welcome back. Once again, like Finnegan, if you've got a Zen, if you've got a Kien to expand your kin, then let's get Zen. Me and you. Frank Monday broadcasting to you from the Central Kingdom of the Celestial Dragon Twilight Zone, Old Peking, far behind the bamboo firewall, deep within the land of the Orientals. Welcoming you, Wayfarer, wherever you are, whoever you are, and whenever you receive this transmission. I hope you're doing well. Welcome to the show, guys. Welcome once again. Let's go ahead and let Israel Regardi get us started with the invocation of Thoth. If you know it, say it with me, right? Here it is here.
Invocation of Thoth. Procul, o procul esti profani, ar lasti ompeda. In the name of the mighty and terrible one, I proclaim that I have banished the shells unto their habitations. I invoke Tahuti, the Lord of wisdom and of utterance, the God that cometh forth from the veil. O thou majesty of the Godhead, wisdom-crowned Tahuti, Lord of the gates of the universe, thee I invoke. O thou of the ivy's head, thee I invoke. Thou who wieldest the wand of double power, thee I invoke. Thou who bearest in thy left hand the rose and cross of light and life, thee I invoke. Thou whose head is as an emerald, and thy nemes as the night sky blue, thee I invoke. Thou whose skin is of flaming orange as though it burned in a furnace, thee I invoke. Behold, I am yesterday, today, and the brother of tomorrow. I am born again and again. Mine is the unseen force whereof the gods are sprung, which is as life unto the dwellers in the watchtowers of the universe. I am the charioteer of the east, lord of the past and of the future. I see by mine own inward light, Lord of resurrection, who cometh forth from the dust, and my birth is from the house of death. O ye two divine hawks upon your pinnacles, who keep watch over the universe, ye who company the bier to the house of rest, who pilot the ship of wrong, ever advancing onwards the heights of heaven, Lord of the shrine which standeth in the center of the earth. Behold, he is in me, and I in him. Mine is the radiance wherein Ptah floateth over the firmament. I travel upon high. I tread upon the firmament of new. I raise that flashing flame with the lightning of mine eye. ever rushing on in the splendor of the daily glorified Ra, giving my life to the dwellers of earth. If I say, come up upon the mountains, the celestial waters shall flow at my word. For I am Ra incarnate, Kefra, created in the flesh. I am the eidolon of my father Tamu, Lord of the city of the sun. The God who commands is in my mouth. The God of wisdom is in my heart. My tongue is the sanctuary of truth, and a God sitteth upon my lips. My word is accomplished every day, and the desire of my heart realizes itself as that of Ptah when he createth his works. I am eternal, therefore all things are as my designs, therefore do all things obey my word. Therefore do thou come forth unto me from thine abode in the silence, unutterable wisdom, or light, or power. So, Hermes, Mercury, Odin, by whatever name I call thee, thou art still nameless to eternity. Come thou forth, I say, and aid and guard me in this work of art. Thou, star of the east, that didst conduct the Magi, thou art the same all present in heaven and in hell. Thou that vibratest between the light and the darkness, rising, descending, changing ever, yet ever the same. The sun is thy father, thy mother the moon. The wind hath borne thee in its bosom, and earth hath ever nourished the changeless Godhead of thy youth. Come thou forth, I say, come thou forth, and make all spirits subject unto me, so that every spirit of the firmament and of the ether, upon the earth and under the earth, on dry land and in the water, of whirling air and of rushing fire, and every spell and scourge of God the vast one may be obedient unto me.
All right, guys, there it is there. What a treat. What a wonderful thing, to have Israel Regardi do the invocation of Thoth for us. Tahuti, Odin, Mercury, Hermes Trismegistus, Lu Bing, by whatever name you call yourself, Christ the risen, Osiris, you art all powerful in this plane of existence. I call upon thee, I invoke thee, Tahuti, the ibis headed god of magic, of oration, of utterance. Thee I invoke. Yes, indeed, guys. Yes, indeed. Wonderful thing. I hope you're doing well this evening, guys. Make sure you check me out at buymeacoffee.com/Frank Monday. Pull a something in the tip jar. We are going to get into another video here tonight. We're going to do a hypnosis video from the past that I compiled with a professional hypnotherapist. I put the link in the chat if anybody wants to join. I will check periodically to see if anybody's tuning in. And yeah, I've got the backstage over here. It's just one click of the button, and I'll be able to see. I do have the chats open though, so I'm watching to see how everybody's doing out in the chat. I hope you are doing well. I will remind you, Wayfarer, that magic's not a difficult thing, right? It comes to us from King David and King Solomon, right? Sol O Moon, the sun and moon, king of the sun and moon from the ancient temple. And he gave us this basic equation. All you need do is ask, and you shall receive, seek, and ye shall find, knock, and all doors of the temple will fly open unto thee. So I'm going to go ahead and ask right now. Yeah, a little something in the tip jar. That'll put the lead in the pencil, the pep in my step, and keep my nose to the grindstone. So good looking out there. I hope y'all good looking, sexy people are doing well out in Happy Land. I got the video loaded up here in the storage. I don't know how long it'll take to get it organized. It's called Suggestions and Advanced Techniques. Let me see if it's if it will even load to this platform. No, it won't load to this platform. It says your video exceeds the 250 megabyte size limit. So you've got to break it down into more than one video. That's okay, guys. I'll do that behind the scenes. Meanwhile, I'll try to spin you a tale of your. Let's see if you've done any sort of self hypnosis before. There's a lot of different techniques you can use to induce a hypnagogic state. Obviously, if you're operating heavy machinery or driving an automobile or doing anything that requires your attention, maybe you're at the stove cooking some dinner or breakfast or something, you don't want to engage in any meditative techniques. But if you have an opportunity to sit back and relax, let me guide you through a short hypnotic induction. And in the meanwhile, let me try to find the movie editor so I can edit this video down into a sizable. Okay, there we go. Got the video editor open, and not sure how much of my hard drive it's going to require to get that working, but we'll see. Hopefully it's not too bad. Hopefully it doesn't pull too hard on the CPU and I can get it done fairly quickly. I just need to cut this thing up into a couple of parts so that it will fit into the restream video upload, a limit of 250 megabytes. So let me see if I can double check that to make sure it's going to be solid. Okay, the video editor is taking its time to open. That's all right. While it does that, yeah. So if you take a moment to sit back and relax and choose um, some technique you're familiar with in order to induce a more relaxed state, one of the ones I like to use is the eye fixation point. So you choose a spot in front of you on the wall slightly above eye level and you concentrate on it while you take a few deep relaxing breaths. So just slightly above eye level, you're seated, maybe relaxed, laid back in a meditative, in a relaxed posture, natural rhythmic breathing, and then as you focus on that eye fixation point, stare directly at it, just beyond arm's length on the wall in front of you. If there is a wall, if it's a little further away, that's okay. At or about either arm's length or double arm's length. And take a deep breath as you concentrate on that eye fixation point. And then as you get to the top of your breath, hold and let your eyes close, keeping the eyes fixated on that point. As your eyes close and darkness envelops you, you let the breath out and command yourself to relax. And imagine your vision penetrating on beyond the wall out into the infinity of the horizon, out and onward, ever onward, outward, and relax. Just let go of all worries, anxiety, any tension or vexation. Let's see what we got here. I'm gonna cut this video right in half. I think that should do it. And I'll break it and I'll delete that second half. And then I'll try to export it. Let's see, export file. And yeah, that should work. And then let's see how big it is. It says estimate 1.9 gigabyte. Cancel that. Hold on. Why is that? Quality higher. Let's go with medium quality and see how much that reduces it. Okay, now it's estimated at 939. I wonder why it's so big. I'll reduce the quality down to 54p, still 558. It needs to be 200. Let's throw it down to low quality. It's got to be 250 and it's still too big. Unreal. I think I'm gonna have to cut it down to like 10 minutes. All right, let's see if that'll work. Delete that. And then, yeah, so Once again, take another deep breath and concentrate on that eye fixation point in front of you, and hold the breath for a moment, and then relax. Okay, that gets it down to 186 at 9 minutes. We'll try that. Save it on the desktop. And yeah, let your whole body relax from head to toe. A warm um, wave of relaxation all the way down, and enjoy. Yeah, enjoy. Okay, on your third breath, I want you to lift up your hands a little off your lap. Focus on that eye fixation point. Inhale, deep breath, and hold. And as you hold and relax, let your arms drop down under your thighs or lap and close your eyes, imagining that same eye fixation point, keeping your eyes at that level. And exhale completely, letting go of worry, tension, anxiety, any type of vexation. Just let it drain from your body, feeling deeply relaxed now. Now we're going to do a 10 count, right? And with natural rhythmic breathing, eyes closed if you like, body fully relaxed, as we go down a spiral staircase into a chamber below, all right? Some subterranean chamber where you're going to there when you get down there at the bottom, there's going to be a door, and then you're going to go through that door, and you're going to have an astral temple that you can work your magic from. So imagine that you're at the top, and you see the stairwell spiraling down into the subterranean depths below, and start your count. It's just 10 quick steps down. Take a deep breath and step down on the first step. Imagine the number 10 and relax. As you take the next step down, take another deep breath. Imagine the number 9 and touch the handrail. Feel the cool stone beneath your feet and the warm texture of the handrail at your side, either left or right, whichever direction you seem to be spiraling down. And feel secure. Go ahead and feel that handrail. Give it a nice little grip with your hand. Internal visualization. Take another step down, deep breath in, foot reaching out, touching the 8th step as you step down onto it. Think about the chambers of the wall around you as this spiraling staircase leads down into the subterranean depths below, and relax. Even deeper relaxation. Continue to relax all the way as you go down. Another deep breath, another step. Imagine the number 7. And you hear something in the distance, maybe the tinkling of a little bell or the uh, melodic chirping of cicadas or grasshoppers. You might hear the wind, a gentle breeze agitating bamboo wind chimes in a tree, or the chirping of birds, the gentle trickling of rain on a tin roof. All right, whatever it is, some relaxing sound that helps you deepen your state of relaxation. Get ready to take another step. Inhale, imagine the number 6, and step down deeper into relaxation. Now, imagine some fragrance wafting by. It could be cinnamon or sandalwood, charcoal from a fire, one of your favorite fragrances, something you recall from childhood, the smell of fresh laundry out of a dryer, or the burning of oleobanum on a brazier in an ancient temple, whatever it is, some smell, roasting meat over an open fire, anything that helps to relax and deepen your sense of safety and well being. Taking another deep breath now. Inhale, hold, and step down onto the fifth step and relax. Imagine some internal sensation that you associate with relaxation. It might be the feeling of just having had a nice meal or a a massage that you've gotten received or given yourself or the burning in the muscles after some form of physical exertion. You can imagine that internal sensation that helps you even deepen your relaxation even further. Go ahead and take another deep breath. Let go of all tension and imagine the number 4 as you step down onto the next step. You're more than halfway there now, Wayfarer, and you're getting closer toward the bottom. I don't even know if this video is going to load correctly, but you're feeling good. You're feeling relaxed. It says it's uploading. Invalid video file. I wonder why. What a waste of time. Oh well, it's a thing. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't work. Take another deep breath and relax. Imagine the number 3, deepening even more into your state of relaxation. Gentle, succulent, lucid relaxation. Oh, it says it's not fully uploaded. It's not fully um, done exporting yet. I wonder why. It says writing. Okay. Another deep breath. And the number 2. You might be able to see the door of the temple before you now as you relax even deeper. Hands still touching the handrail. Feel the last couple of steps under your feet. Maybe a gentle, cool breeze wafts by you, bringing you that relaxing scent again. You can still hear the soothing, vibratory frequency of some relaxing sound, soothing you and deepening your relaxation even further. The final step now, taking a deep breath. Hold for a moment, step down onto the platform below. You've taken 10 short steps into a subterranean chamber, and in front of you is the door of your astral temple. You might have it decorated in any way that you want, any symbols or sigils on the door, reaffirming to you what lies beyond. You may have your personal magical sigil emblazoned on it, right? Imagine the handle, the material of the door. Is it wood, steel, copper bound? Is it big? Is it small? Imagine that door in front of you now. Is the door handle on the left or the right? Does it have a thumb switch or a knob? Or is it an older fashioned one, like a barn type thing that you lift and push aside? Go ahead and reach out with one of your hands. Which one do you reach out with, Wayfarer? Think about it. Touch the cool handle of the door and push it open. Which direction does it swing? Swinging inward. Doesn't open outward, it opens inward. And then step in to your astral temple space. Before you, an indistinguished room that you're creating inside of your mind. An astral temple, a magical working space. Maybe you've been here before, Wayfarer. Maybe there's an altar at the center, or there could be a bookcase or a writing desk or something. It should be furnished and decorated in the way that best suits you. While you're in this temple, you can do any type of good magic you like. You can find a relaxing chair to sit in, or you can stand in front of a blazing fire, or an open window uh, that has the view of a dynamic landscape. There could be a water feature in your temple. There could be a statue. There could be any number of things in there. There could be other entities that dwell within and have awaited your return, paintings or canvases or auras on the walls, perhaps scrolls of various celestial or divine figures. Whatever you like is in your astral temple. And you should put all of the things in there that you like to use in your own personal magical practice and keep them handy and at the ready. This is a safe space for you to work good magic. And for example, in this exercise, you might imagine a stone altar at the center with a old brass lamp, like an Aladdin's lamp, sitting on top of it. You can walk over to that altar and pick up that old dusty Aladdin's lamp, and maybe there's a nice rag next to it that you can polish it up with. And as you polish it, the mystical, magical smoke might start to emerge from it, and a genie standing before you now in all his mystical and magical glory, granting you any wish you desire. He gives a little chortled belly laugh. Welcome back, magician. Your wish is my command. And whatever you want right now, you can go ahead and tell your genie. Tell him the wish of your heart. And he says, so it is commanded and confirmed, so mote it be. And upon giving this invocation, he says the magical word of incantation, abrahadabra, and your wish is granted either now, immediately, if it's a feeling or a sensation. Maybe you wanted greater happiness or health or peace of mind. Any one of those things that can be granted immediately from a shift in perception can be yours right now. Or if not, then if it's a more difficult and harder to achieve wish, it might be revealed to you in a shorter or longer period of time in the nearer or distant future. And you can make any wish you want. Wish for something big, something good for yourself or for someone else. It doesn't matter because all of the greater things that empower you are there to make your
Greetings and
life better.
salutations,
And the Lord of
wanderers
this
and
universe and this
wayfarers. Today,
our
I have a
God,
very
our
special
Father who
program
art
for
in
you.
heaven,
I'm
will
meeting
grant
with
any
Tomas
wish you
Sund. He
desire.
is or
Because,
Tomas
of
Sund, sorry.
course,
He's a
He wants you to have a more enriched and powerful life, and that's always a good thing. Yeah, the greater material wealth you have, the greater physical health you have, all of those things will only make your life and the lives of those around you even better. So go ahead and wish for whatever you want. Recovery from illness, more robust health, an income of finances from possibly a windfall or some other source, whatever it is you want. And when you're done and the genie has returned to the lamp, you can set the lamp back on the altar, give gratitude, look around your astral temple, and reinforce all of the things that are there within your grasp. And then take some time to wander out of the temple. And when you leave the temple, leave headed straight back toward the spiral staircase and close the door behind you, pulling it shut behind you, but don't look back. Look onward and upward, back up the spiral staircase, back into the present moment, counting back up from 1 to 5 only. We will return to the present moment. 1, feeling reinvigorated, starting to feel more attentive to the sensations around you. 2, becoming more aware and more conscious of returning to the waking world. 3, waking up now, you might go ahead and choose to rub your face, wiggle your fingers and toes. 4, returning to the space in which you now dwell and giving great gratitude. 5, waking up refreshed and invigorated from this short hypnotic induction and feeling great gratitude. Yeah, well, good magic. What a thing, huh? Thank you for going along that journey with me, Wayfarer. We're gonna look into a little video I made here a while back. Not sure how long ago. Frater Tomas was still alive at the time that we made this, and I think we were working on hypnoapotheosis in this one, and these were advanced hypnotic techniques and methods. So let's see what we were talking about here in this video. And remember, if at any time you'd like to join the transmission Wayfarer, just go ahead and jump on, and I'll post the link once again in case you missed it. Got the link right there for anyone if they'd like to chime in tonight and chat with old Frank Monday. Here it is here.
Greetings and salutations, wanderers and wayfarers. Today, I have a very special program for you. I'm meeting with Thomas Sund. Thomas Sund, sorry. He's a professional hypnotherapist who works in the tradition of Milton Erickson. Thomas works privately with clients and has also created an excellent introductory course to self-hypnosis. I highly recommend his course if you're interested in learning more about harnessing the powers of your subconscious mind and improving your quality of life. To sign up for his course or even do private sessions with him, make sure you find his YouTube page down here. I'll put the information in the description and the pinned comment below. I've personally
Okay, well, yeah, Wayfarer. Sadly, Frater Tomas has passed in beyond the veil. He's gone to the world beyond to seek the truth. He died back in March of 2024. So he has departed from this realm just over about a year and a half ago. And we worked on a program called Hypnoapotheosis. And I'm going to tell you a little bit about the story of how I met Thomas. I think here, I don't think I talk much about it, but we worked together for about 10 years while he lived here in Beijing, and then he went back. He was from Sweden originally, and he went back to Sweden. And yeah, we were keeping in touch and still working together over the internet until his unforeseen departure from this realm. In fact, we had another 100-day challenge planned at the time, Pathways of Magic. He was supposed to participate in it with me, but yeah, he got taken from he departed this world or got taken from this world far too soon. So yeah, that's the story
and
there.
I know him to be a very loving and kind person. This video I am doing today is for the 100-day challenge. And the 100-day challenge is all about 10 decadias or 10 days of challenging yourself to learn some practice, whether it be improved quality of life practices like doing aphorisms, or we've engaged in physical well-being like doing Chinese Qigong exercises and so on and so forth, and all different types of aspects. This time we're focused on hypnosis, and more specifically self-hypnosis and working with a partner. So with no further ado, Tomas, welcome to the show.
Oh, hi, Frank. Thank you very much for having me. As always, I'm excited about your 100-day challenges. This is the latest one, Hypnoapotheosis.
Yeah, the 100-day challenge. Yeah, so we did a few 100-day challenges together. I think we did like 3 together, and I think I've done like, I don't know, maybe close to 10 of them now. The last one I just did was the 100-day challenge, Way of the Psionic Agent. But yeah, me and Tomas, I think we did like 3 of them together. We did the Tarot Challenge, 100-day Tarot Challenge, where you're challenged to learn about and read the tarot cards. We did Hypnoapotheosis together, and we did another one, the Way of the Scholar Warrior. So yeah, we did 3 100-day challenges together. And then we had a 4th one planned, and we even had a retreat planned. We were going to do a retreat in Tennessee on my land and invite people out there to learn hypnosis, kung fu, and magic, and do some massage therapy and stuff like that directly with us. And we were supposed to do that this summer here in 2025, but again, I told you what happened. So um, let's look at a little more of the video.
This is the latest one, Hypnoapotheosis, bringing out your inner divine spark, I suppose. I love that. I love the idea of working over 100 days and seeing how you grow in this practice. So that's going to be amazing.
Yeah, great. Thanks for joining me, Thomas. I really appreciate it. And I do have some questions. We're kind of already getting into the content and the lesson material for the 100-day
Yeah.
challenge. And so for one of the later lessons, I'll be releasing this video. I'd like to ask you about hypnotic suggestion. So my first
Mm,
question is, how would you describe a formal like trance state as
mhm.
compared with
Yeah, so you could see here, I was really tapping into and leaning hard on his understanding of hypnosis, and we wanted to prepare these videos and make them accessible to the community so that you could get right in there and join the 100-day challenge. Hypnoapotheosis is what this one was called, and start to learn about self hypnosis in order to break from trance states and to work with the other than conscious part of your mind in order to bring about any kind of change or result that you wanted, in your psychology.
as
Mhm.
compared with just your everyday conscious attention, as
Mhm.
compared with just your everyday conscious attention and focus.
Okay. Um, Now, the word trans can mean many things to different people. So let's just unpack that a little bit. A trance is generally a focus of attention in either inward or outward, to the exclusion of other things. If you watch TV, you fall into a trance or glide into a trance. Doesn't have to be violent in any way, right? Daydreaming, driving a car, sometimes you are so very, very focused on many things. Maybe you don't hear when people are talking in the car. You might be excluding sounds from your engine. You are just in the pocket, so to speak. A formal trance.
Right. I'm sure everyone can associate that driving trance, right? Like you've been driving somewhere, driving home or to work or something or to the store. And why is this isn't pausing correctly? That's okay. I think I got it paused now. And like you don't even remember how you got there. Like vast portions of the trip may just have been totally forgotten. And that's due to trance state. So he's looking at this, like when you're reading a good book or you're just kind of dozing off listening to the internet or something or an audiobook and you're really not paying attention. These would all be various forms of trance states. People throughout the day, they fall into trance when they're at the office or something and they're just maybe doing busy work and they're not really thinking about it. So he gives us the keys here about breaking through trance using hypnosis to in fact break out of those trance states or those other than conscious automated behaviors so that you become more mindful and aware of what you've got going on. So let's continue to listen. This is a really good one.
Be excluding sounds from your engine. You are just in the pocket, so to speak. A formal trance is when you are working with another person who is determined to guide you into a hypnotic state, right? So either you can do that on yourself, on your own as well, like simply by making a recording and ritualize it a little bit. Again, I'm going to sit down in this chair. I'm going to do these things. I'm going to turn off the phone. I'm going to make sure that everything is ready. I'm going to do these breathing exercises, and then I'm going to.
Yeah, so it's good that here he's pointing out the ritual application of setting time aside for getting into trance or putting oneself into a hypnagogic state, hypnopompic, hypnagogic. I guess when you're going into the state, it's called hypnagogic, and then no, hypnopompic, right? Induced. And then when you're coming out of trance state, that's hypnagogic. So those are the twilight sleep periods when you cross the threshold from your waking state into a sleeping state. Now, hypnosis is much like it's not falling asleep, obviously, it's active participation in crossing the threshold from the attention factor, the conscious mind, into the ocean of the subconscious or other than conscious mind, and where it can even touch on the completely unconscious aspects of reality, which we would know as matter or the molecular states, the atomic states, those elemental states that are the deepest level of unconscious mind. But all of these are within the realm of mind, and so we can touch them, but it requires a breaking from the ordinary focused attention, which we that oftentimes is called the guardian at the threshold in magic. And in hypnosis and hypnotic language, the jargon of that field, it's called the critical factor, or the critical factor of attention. So the attention point, the conscious mind. And let's learn a little more about it.
Ready? I'm going to do these breathing exercises, and then I'm going to put myself into a trance. We can call that a formal trance. It's a trance that you are planning to go into. So either
Yeah, so notice he makes this distinction between like the ordinary casual trance states that you might find yourself in throughout the day, and then a formalized, intended changing of the attention factor. And it's really it's really a letting go of the critical factor, or the focused attention point, the conscious mind, and then it's shifting the cognitive function into the other than conscious part of the mind, or the subconscious realm. And so it's in the language of hypnosis, they've described it as the conscious attention being like a spotlight. So you imagine a very narrowly focused spotlight, and you can point it into a dark room, and you can highlight individual single analog aspects of what's going on in that room, right? You can point it at a desk with maybe there's a crystal goblet filled with red wine, right? You can focus in on that. And then the subconscious mind would be more like the floodlight. So you twist the lens and you expand that spotlight to flood the entire room. Now you can see the nightstand with the crystal goblet filled with red wine, and you can also see the great mural on the wall, and then maybe wooden chair that you really enjoy that wooden chair that you really enjoy sitting in, right? You could see all of that in front of your attention, but you're not focused on any individual aspect of that scene now, right? So that's a, a basic type of crossing the threshold, or shifting into a more, if the spotlight could be known as an analog awareness, then the other could be known or likened to a digital awareness, right? A more encompassing awareness, a more gentle softening of the focus.
it's highly intentional. That's what I would call it, right? And one more thing about trance is that we can talk about different levels of trance, For example, if you are, you might be in such a deep, comfortable mental space that you are completely you are, to the exclusion of all other things, perhaps working on healing something, or working on letting go of some painful trauma, or reworking it into being a resource for you, then that would be what we call a very deep level of trance. But as a hypnotherapist, deep trance or light trance, it really doesn't matter. They are useful nonetheless, any which way where you are. So people who are now practicing self-hypnosis and getting into this, you don't have to judge what your level of trance is, because really it does not matter. There's a usefulness to a utility to any level of trance, which is
Okay, wow, good magic. I'm glad he points that out, right? So not only can we shift the attention factor out of the analog condition of processing information in a critical way, right? Again, the critical factor, and shift into this more digital awareness and a softening of the attention, we can do it in a gradiated type of ascension. So we could go from this light type of, you just sit down and you relax and take 3 deep breaths and command yourself to relax. We might call that a very light intentional trance, right? To a more deeper one where maybe you end up and you have some free time that is a bit of a paradigm shift, right? Like something had been planned and then suddenly it's canceled, right? So take, for example, one of the more dynamic type situations where you had planned a date or a meetup with someone, and you're about to go there, or you're already en route or something, or you've shown up to the location, and then suddenly you get a message and you receive, and they say, "Hey, I've something's come up. I'm really sorry, but I've got to cancel." And then suddenly you find yourself with a couple of hours of free time that you hadn't planned for. That's one of the more perfect times, if you can, to seize upon that kind of shock to your pattern. It's almost like someone throwing a glass of cold water in your face, because that will create a unintended liminal shift in your awareness, and you can actually use that for really deep path working. You could look at it one of two ways. You could say, "Oh, fuck, I'm a little bit disappointed in not being able to meet up with that person. I was really looking forward to this." Or you could say, "Wow, what a golden opportunity to spend like an entire hour or 45 minutes to an hour just doing internal path working and visiting my astral temple." And if you do that, oh my gosh, like the gains you can get from that can be just like unimaginably fruitful. And I would highly recommend it if you get into a situation like that in the near future, or you look back and maybe you've already had one of those liminal shifts where you found yourself in a situation like that and you used it for some sort of internal growth. That's really a wonderful thing. So I don't know if we mentioned it in this video or not, but let's keep getting instruction from beloved Frater Tomas.
which is why it's so easy to work with it, and the rules are what you make them. But as a hypnotherapist, deep trance or light trance, it really doesn't matter. They are useful nonetheless, any which way where you are. So people who are now practicing self-hypnosis and getting into this, you don't have to judge what your level of trance is, because really it does not matter. There's a usefulness to a utility to any level of trance, which is why it's so easy to work with it, and the rules are what you make them, so it's a
Yeah, I think it's one of the things here. I think he's taking a page from my book on this, in that he's giving you the tools you need to achieve deeper hypnotic trance states and real productive change through internal path working. But at the same time, he's letting you know that it's okay to fuck up occasionally and not achieve deeper states, and that light trance can be just as useful. And the overarching message here is consistency in practice. So the 100-day challenge is all about 10 decadias, right? 10 days of a graduated progression of learning um, better and better skills, developing a skill set in a certain discipline like hypnosis or qigong or magic or something of this nature, divination and tarot, or whatever it is, calligraphy, whatever you're endeavoring to improve. But there's something to be said for consistency of practice. So whether you do 2 or 3 minutes in a single session, right, on a given day, or you do 10 or 15 minutes in a single session, the idea is that you do a session every day, and you shouldn't beat yourself up about it, right? Even if you just sit down and do the ritual work of getting all the pencils and papers out, and you sharpen your pencils, and you set your eraser in place and stuff, and you do all the ritual work that's associated with practicing sketch art or something like that, and you're like, I'm going to knock out 100 heads today, right, or a dozen ears or something, and you get everything ready, and then something comes up and you can't do any of it. That doesn't matter. That's a session, right? Getting the stuff out, getting ready to do it, that's a session, even if you don't practice, because that makes it just that much easier next time to access those tools. You are no longer connected to the internet. Connection loss. You are no longer connected to the internet. Please reconnect to the internet. You have lost connection with the internet. Are we back? Are we back, guys? Okay, looks like we might be back. All right, good magic. I think we're streaming once again, like Finnegan. Must we go round again? Yeah, so I think where I left off was saying that, guys, the 100-day challenge is all about building up. Okay, yeah, we're connected again, guys. Good. I got the feedback loop and it's returned. It's about building up that consistency in practice. And I just finished up a 100-day challenge, guys, with the psionic agent, and I'll be launching into another one at the time of the equinox. So we're in July now. We've got July, August, September. It'll be September 22nd is when I'll launch the next 100-day challenge. And I haven't thought about all of the things that will go with that, but you can check out the last few ones I've done on buymeacoffee.com. I got a full list of activities to do for each and every single day of the 100-day challenge for developing deeper, more enriching psychic powers. That's the last one I did. The one prior to that was Way of the Magician, right? And the one before that was Hypnoapotheosis. And the one before that was Way of the Scholar Warrior. And we've done a few others. Like I said, we did a tarot challenge, we did a magic challenge. And so this is good. The next one, I believe, will be something along the lines of modern day magician, right? And when I say that, I mean ceremonial magic and ritual magic. And I think I'm going to include elements of all the other challenges that have gone before, right? Like understanding to activate. It says that I'm disconnected again, guys. Let me see here. Let me double check the feedback loop on the old YouTubes and see if we are in fact disconnected. And I think I'm going to include elements of all the other. Okay, it sounds like we're still connected on the. It looks like we got a little bit of a lag on the YouTube. Okay, but it does sound like I'm transmitting just fine. I don't know why Restream keeps doing that. It keeps sending me disconnection signals here on Restream. Anyway, so the next challenge I'm going to go into, I'm going to try to include kind of all aspects of that with the overarching theme of leadership, right? And so it's going to be the magician, the hypnotist, the wild card, the warrior, the diviner, and any and all aspects of those things combined into an entire leadership package, right? The 100-day challenge, way of leadership, something like that. Yeah. Because I'm going to be moving into a new role in my career where these things, like the Harvard Business School Review, the Economist magazine, um, what are those? The 7 Habits of Highly Effective People, the 48 Laws of Power, all of these things I'm going to need to be accessing on the daily for my own retraining in these attributes because I'm moving from a like a leadership position into a senior leadership position. So it'll be a bit of a shift in my own career, and I'm just going to bring you guys along on the journey. I'm going to make it a 100-day challenge of learning about Stoic wisdom and all of these other aspects of the magical tradition and hermetic arts, hermetic sciences, as it were, that I've been cultivating and bringing forward here on the old Frank Monday channel. And I'll be looking forward to doing some interviews with other people. So if any and everyone who does this type of thing is interested, let me know, and I'll get you on board for the 100-day challenge, guys, and we'll do some interviews.
So it's a free form exercise in many ways, and there's no pressure anywhere. Just allow yourself to go into a nice, comfortable mental state and listen to some affirmation or work on healing or these things.
Good. Thank you so much for that, Thomas. That really helps out a lot, because I've been battling with it, and formal trance as being a part of altered consciousness, and maybe through guided meditation or hypnosis, and then battling with the everyday consciousness and the habituated states of just doing things throughout the day. So I truly do believe that formal trance, like getting into deeper levels of trance, can facilitate personal growth, healing, and behavioral change. The next question I've got is, I'm wondering, what are some good ways you think are to go about formulating your own suggestions, like positive aphorisms or suggestions that you use for yourself during self-hypnosis? So how can we go about formulating those?
Okay. Very good question.
Yeah, and so some of these questions give you guys some of the background on this section of hypnoapotheosis where I was interviewing Tomas. Some of the questions I knew and had sent him, and some of them I just kind of thought of on the spur of the moment and riffed or improved on my own ideas. And this is one I hadn't presented to him beforehand. And afterwards, he asked me, he said, "Hey, there are a few questions you asked me during the interview that we hadn't discussed." And so we're just getting his natural response here. Whereas I think the first question we handled was one we had already talked about. Yeah. So we did quite a few of these interviews. If you guys get in the channel and you look in the Hypnoapotheosis 100-day challenge playlist, I think I've logged about 20 videos into it. But there are quite a few more that I just didn't have the time to organize into all of the playlists, but they're available there on my channel. And if it's edited like this one is, then I don't think it was a live video. I think we recorded it beforehand.
I would like to say that the best kinds of suggestions are the kinds of suggestions that rely on potential and possibility. So if you have a goal in mind, let's say you want to be a better learner. Maybe you find that your focus is not what it should be. Perhaps, you get distracted by things. So instead of saying you are getting better at learning every day, not bad, not bad. However, that might feel like it's a little bit of too much pressure on you. So we're looking at possibility and potential. So let's say this instead. You may find new ways of assimilating and integrating and learning new materials effortlessly and easily, more and more every day. So in that answer, or in that affirmation, which is careful and carefully created, is I'm saying you may, right? Possibility. There's no defense against this potential, right? And when I say defense, is I'm saying, like, if I say you are getting better at this, like, no, I'm not, or I don't see how that works. So you are sort
of. So you could see how, like, here, some of the hypnotic language is going to help you bypass your resistance to autosuggestion, right? Like, there's one interesting aspect of the mind and the RAS, or reticular activating system, in that your mind isn't going to tolerate any bullshit from you, right? So if you're using these older style of like Tony Robbins type inductions, like in every day in every way I'm getting better and better, you're going to put up some resistance to that, right? You're going to fight with it a little bit. And so if you use this more might I even say covert hypnotic techniques in bypassing the critical factor, the attention factor in the mind, then it's a bit of a softening, right? Like if you remember at the beginning of the hour when I first started this video, I talked about the spotlight as opposed to the floodlight view, the analog versus the digital. If you can get yourself into an altered state of light trance or deep trance, then you can bypass the critical factor or the guardian at the threshold that will stop you from making direct changes in your subconscious mind. And yeah, good to see you, Brian Roy. Good to see you again, man. Thanks for stopping by. I appreciate you being here. I think you were here at the start of the transmission as well. I know that was Brian Acosta. So Brian Roy, a little different from Brian Acosta. Two Brians in one night. What kind of that's good magic right there, man. Good looking out. Good evening to you, Brian. I'm just talking about the 100-day challenge, hypnoapotheosis that I did with Frater Tomas. About 2 years ago is when we did these videos. Yeah, so just getting into some magic, man. Some mind change work, paradigm shifting and all that good fun stuff that I'm sure you're a huge fan of. And so one of the aspects of doing good suggestive work in hypnotic trances is to be able to bypass the guardian at the threshold, right? The guardian at the gate, the lurker at the threshold. It's that entity or part of the psyche that stands there in wait to stop um, good, life changing, powerful affirmations that will help you level up, right? Like, I've used these a lot because I've been a deep practitioner of Kung Fu and ceremonial magic since I was a teenager. And it's something that I've done pretty much every single day of my life until now. So, like 13 to 53, I've done 40 years of Kung Fu and magic in combination, and I've used a lot of hypnotic techniques this entire time in order to discipline the mind, right? So I remember the beginning phases. I always remember being a neophyte, as it were, a beginner. And it's something that I mastered early on was the process of being a beginner and just putting the rituals in place, those actions and triggers that will allow you to get the work done and to bypass any type of negative self-talk, right? Like getting up at 4 or 5 a.m. every day. I mean, there's the 5 a.m. club, right? Which is horse shit. That's not a real thing. You have to be, you might get up later, but you follow your own sleep schedule, your own circadian rhythms, right? And I'm 9 o'clock already p.m. here in Old Peking, so it's getting close to my bedtime because I do get up early. But it's because I've formed my life around a schedule that getting up early benefits me. It gives me the opportunity to practice meditation and qigong in the early morning and do some dream journaling and dream recall and do ritual work and then do some kung fu, 30, 45 minutes of kung fu or whatever every single day. And then throughout the day, I can practice movements, I can practice breath techniques, I can do all of these things because I do them and I put them first and foremost in my day every day. But there may be other things that you need to focus on and do that are essential and paramount to your transformation and your metamorphosis in life. And whatever that may be, whether it be just practicing some art or in investment management or raising your kids or whatever those things which with you empower your life that are fulfilling to you. Writing, another is a great one. There's many a great writer out there that finds writer's block or ritual difficult in order to master those aspects of life. So I think this addresses all of those factors, right? By being able to learn to do this. Let's play a little more.
Sort of working against yourself because your suggestion is not integrating and learning new materials effortlessly and easily, more and more every day. So in that answer, or in that affirmation, which is careful and carefully created, is I'm saying you may, right? Possibility. There's no defense against this potential, right? And when I say defense, is I'm saying, like, if I say you are getting better at this, like, no, I'm not, or I don't see how that works. So you are sort of working against yourself because your suggestion is not immediately true or obvious to you. So we're being careful in our formulation. You may find new ways, and that means that, yeah, why not? That could be perfectly possible. And as you may find new ways to assimilate and integrate and learn new materials easily and effortlessly. So integrate.
Yeah, so he's really well versed in neuro-linguistic programming and hypnotic techniques. Like I said, Ericksonian, and the other one I forget, starts with an M. Maybe it'll come to me later, doesn't matter. But I've been utilizing these techniques more recently here in transitioning from a like middle management position to a senior leadership position. And I did all of this by way of magical incantation and the softening of the mind. I would think to myself, as those key players moved through my environment, I said there may in fact be more opportunities to expand upward in this corporate structure, right? I may in fact enjoy more being in a position of senior leadership, and rather than doing some of the legwork, which I also enjoy. I enjoy everything I do. I'm just as happy fucking pushing a mop, cleaning toilets, as I am giving speeches to an auditorium of 1,000 people. Right? Either way, obviously the other one pays more. One pays more than the other, right? But they both have about the same amount of intrinsic value. In fact, pushing the mop may have more value in the long run, right? But it just doesn't pay as much, and it's not as prestigious. So I might need to allow myself to expand into realms where my experience and understanding are more greatly rewarded, right? If you think about it this way, I heard this analogy not long ago. Imagine a bottle of water, right? We all have had a bottle of Coca-Cola or a bottle of water or whatever, drinking water. And if you buy that one as a lot of 100 at like Costco or something, it might cost you 25 or 30 cents a bottle, right? Now, if you buy that same bottle from a vending machine on the street near a venue, it might cost you $1, right? But then if you buy that same bottle of water and it's Avion, and you're in first class on a flight to Honolulu, it might cost you $15 for that bottle of water, right? It's the same bottle of water either way, whether it be 25 cents, $1, or $15. But the marketing for that bottle of water is very different depending on the environment, right? So with your own life energy and your work, you might be getting minimum wage for pushing a mop in in an adult video store, right? But you might get $20 an hour for pushing a mop on a government job in, say, I don't know, a prison, right? And you might get $50 an hour if you're pushing that same mop on a construction site where carpenters and electricians are working. And you might be making $150 an hour pushing that mop in the White House. Right, so it's the same fucking mop pushing, but with very, very different returns on investment. So in life, you absolutely do want to be a little bit focused on this, because you can't help anyone if you're always in a state of poverty and a state of emergency. And so all you have to do is shift your attention, and that state of emergency, that state of poverty will just immediately disappear, right? And you can keep on doing the exact same things you're doing. There doesn't need to be any shift in what value you're providing to the world, because you're already doing the most intelligent thing you know how to do. That's a tendency of the human mind. You're going to rise to your highest level of incompetency in any given situation, but just make sure you're getting paid right for it. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, no worries, Brian Roy. Thanks for stopping by, man. I believe that you're from the Foundry. Yeah, so good magic to you, man. A peaceful day and a wonderful, great day at work for you, Emilio. And thank you for the warm wishes, man. I certainly appreciate that. We're gonna dig a little more into this video, man. I could probably go another hour. Before we do that, though, I am going to shout out the channel. I'm going to remind you guys to check me out on buymeacoffee.com/Frank Bundy. Put a little something, something in the tip jar that helps keep the lead in my pencil, the jelly in my donut, and the pep in my step. As long as you guys keep supporting the channel, then I will keep rolling with the punches with my nose to the grindstone and knocking out more stimulating, titillating, invigorating content on hermetic sciences, mind change, magic, and all the wonderful things, stories of the paranormal, et cetera, ad nauseum, right? Everything you guys love to hear about. Remember, you have within you a mighty power. All you need do is ask, and you shall receive. Seek, and ye shall find. Knock, and all the doors of the temple will fly open to you. Because remember, O neophyte, goodness alone is power, silence is strength. Will regaineth omnipotence, and love lieth at the foundation, because love is the law, love under will. And our Father who art in heaven, he gave us his only begotten Son, so that we might receive salvation and love of the Lord. Yeah, good magic, guys. Let's keep listening to this video.
Integrate, assimilate, and learn. These three words are different aspects. So we're leaving it open. Maybe you are integrating, maybe you are learning, maybe you are assimilating. They could be different ways of understanding the same concept. But yeah, why not? That could be perfectly possible. And as you may find new ways to assimilate and integrate and learn new materials easily and effortlessly. So integrate, assimilate, and learn. These three words are different aspects. So we're leaving it open. Maybe you are integrating, maybe you are learning, maybe you are assimilating. They could be different ways of understanding the same concept. And then finally, I use the words effortlessly and easily, two adverbs that are just tacked on at the end because it's not supposed to be a struggle. So that's a little bit of how I would do it. Potential, openness, and then without effort. It would happen on its own. You will be surprised by your own ability to do these things.
Here's an amazing thing too. Tomas is from Sweden originally, right? And English isn't his first language. This is a guy that grew up speaking Swedish and Dutch and German, right? And even spoke French and Spanish quite fluently. And he started focusing on his English after he met me. And we met in like 2007, maybe. And he was here until like 2017, something like that, like 2006, 2007. And then he was here for 10 years, and we had a friendship, right? And we worked on a lot of things. We worked on improv classes and swing dance, and we did stand-up comedy. We were like, we were bros. We had a bromance. And his English, when I first met him, it was serviceable, but it wasn't great. But this is about 15 years later, right? So, and he learned to speak Chinese fluently as well. So this is an individual, right, whose native language is Dutch or German, spoke Spanish and French fairly well, pretty fluently when I met him. Also speaks English and Chinese. So multilingual, right? This seemed to be the order of the day with cosmopolitan or internationals. Everyone I meet in the outside of the American world always was multilingual, right? They always spoke multiple languages. And that's something we've really fallen like really far behind on as Americans. Like we just don't have the multilingual talents of Europeans or even Asians. And I think it's something that everyone should endeavor to do. So you might want to do a 100-day challenge on just learning the basics of a foreign language, whatever that may be. Spanish, obviously, is going to be one of the most serviceable ones for you if you're an American, or as a European, you might want to learn some Arabic now because you have so many a huge influx of people from the Arabian world, right, the Middle East, and so on. But yeah. Definitely endeavor to if you already speak a second language, go ahead and pick up a third, right, or a fourth. Um, and you'd be surprised, right? Like with these auto suggestions, how much you can do with your mind. You can do much more than you would have otherwise thought, guys. I'm gonna go ahead and drop this video and load up another one. Hopefully this works out all right. It says this one's gonna run for 11 minutes, and we'll see. It should load. I think I put it down to the right size. Give it a second, guys. In the meantime, we can get a little comedy relief.
Person walks up to Eazy-E and says, "Hey, nigger."
Depends on how you said it. Like you say, "What's up, nigga?" Then that's cool. But if you just say, "Nigger," then I'm gonna take it different. I might be over there, you be pulling me off of it, you know?
Now, if a white person walks up to Eazy-E and says, "Hey, nigger."
Depends on how you said it. Like you say, "What's up, nigga?" Then that's cool. But if you just say, "Nigger," then I'm gonna take it different. I might be over there, you be pulling me off of it, you know?
I love that. Yeah, I just got to throw that in at the halfway point, right? Nothing like a little easy E straight out of Compton. Yeah, good magic. Plant trees. It's called Tree Amigos. Good synchronicity. Yeah, really? Wow, you got a company called the Tree Amigos. Yeah, the three amigos, man, the three magi. Ain't nothing wrong with that. We got three folks in the chat right now. I hope y'all are good looking, sexy people out in Happy Land are holding down the fort. Hope you visited the Foundry last night. I think Vlad went long, man. Uh he ended up doing like a 4-hour show for flat Mondays, right? Or True Earth Tuesdays, whatever it is he called that. Yeah. And then he did a 2-hour interview on another guy's channel, which I missed because I was having lunch. And then I think he did like another 2.5-hour debrief after that. And I caught most of it, guys, honestly, even though I was at work all day, but I was listening on my, like podcast style. I couldn't hang out in the chat much, but I was tuning in and turning on. Yeah, so that's good magic, man. I appreciate that. Good looking out. It's taken a little longer to load this video than I thought it would. Let me see how it's doing. What's the percentage? Okay, it's at 50%. So we got just a minute longer before the video will load up. Let's see if I've got anything here in the captions that's worth looking at. Yeah, I got a little scrolling banner here, I think. Yeah, thanks for tuning in, everyone. Please check me out at buymeacoffee.com/Frank Monday and consider a one-time coffee donation for old FM radio. Thank you for that. That's a ticker, it says. See if I've got some other ones. Nope, I don't have a lot loaded up on this Restream because I don't typically use Restream. I mostly used StreamYard, but StreamYard has a very reduced level of streaming hours now. I think it's like 20 or less than 20, like maybe 15. And so, yeah, okay, the second part of the video has loaded up, guys. Let me
and
boot it
then
up.
without effort, it would happen
Get
on
on
its
the
own.
screen there for
You
you.
will be surprised by your own ability to do these things.
Fantastic. I like the idea of the effortless and natural way of going about it. It's true within the Tao that all things in the universe occur really without our effort. I mean, we need to do something to influence our thoughts and feelings, beliefs, and behaviors, especially if we want to make progressive change. So I do think that it's important to formalize it, you know, be specific. I find that I battle with negative self-talk sometimes. And so with that said, uh, what would you say are some of the most effective ways to achieve deeper trance state? Like, I want to make progressive, positive change in my life. So I've been given some.
Yeah, so let's get into this next session. This is another like impromptu question I asked him. So we're going to be getting his natural response to it as a professional hypnotherapist with like close to 20 years of experience in doing hypnotherapy and teaching self hypnosis to other people. So we'll see. And my question isn't really greatly formulated. The real question I had here, I think, and I think he addresses it directly, is how to overcome negative self talk and how to use deeper trance states, how to achieve deeper trance states, and then how to utilize those in order to reprogram the mind to fucking quit beating yourself up. You know, you're doing the best you can and enjoy life a little more, right? And enjoy those wonderful gifts of the spirit that the good Lord has blessed us with.
So I've been given some of the exercises, the various induction methods, but how do I get into those deeper levels of trance?
Well, if you follow one of the inductions that we've talked about the staircase induction, moving down the stairs, relaxing deeper in your body, relaxing deeper in your mind, then at the bottom of the stairs where you're already at what you think at that moment is the deepest relaxation that you're capable right then, the next.
Yeah, and if you were here at the start of the video, guys, then I did the basic staircase induction method, right? Like 10 steps down into the subterranean chamber. And I went ahead and I added the astral temple to it, which isn't it's a little more advanced of a technique, and I didn't get real deep into it. But the basic staircase induction and with the eye fixation point and the dropping of the hands. So we actually utilized about 4 techniques there. We used breath work, we used external and internal visualization, we used a kinetic induction factor, right? Like the dropping of the hands onto the lap. And then we used our first official method, which is the staircase technique. And I took you down with the 5 sensory inductive principles of like seeing and feeling and hearing and smelling. And the only one I left out were like an internal sensation of like a taste factor, right? But yeah, and then we went down and then we opened the door of the astral temple, and that may have been your first experience with the guy, because that's 2 different methods with like 4 different techniques. So that's quite a bit in that single package that I took you through. And I think it was about maybe 15 minutes of the first part of the video. So if you missed that, definitely go back, rewind, and walk yourself through those techniques to be able to benefit from that.
The next step is to move towards another threshold, maybe another gate, because you can say that you're moving towards a door. And as you're moving towards the door, just allow that relaxation that you have in your mind and body to further deepen naturally.
Yeah, so you notice the natural progression there. He used the staircase method, and now he's taking you to the door of the astral temple, right? And so these are deeper levels of magic that are ingrained within hypnotic technique that even hypnotherapists don't necessarily recognize that some of what they're doing is coming from the Hermetic sciences. It's coming from the realms of ceremonial magic. So good magic.
And when you have doubled your relaxation, you can make your way all the way up to the door. So now you are perfectly relaxed in mind and body. And then from there, that's just, you're still perhaps with half an ear and half an eye on the outside world. We have a gate, we have a door, And then when you step through that door, we are sort of pushing ourselves or moving into a separate state, you know? So we can do that by having a series of rooms. Imagine that. Down the stairs, deepen your relaxation even more, go through a door, be in that space that's comfortable and allow yourself to explore and engage your senses. You feel, you see, you hear, you can maybe smell grass and flowers in a beautiful space. And from there, you might get another staircase or another door that leads you into a deeper space. So by sectioning off, and for each space that you're in, find that deepest relaxation in mind and body. And then from there,
Right. And so here's where the section on pathworking on the Tree of Life starts to come into play, right? As you move into the Temple of Malkuth, you'll see three more doors leading out from that, right? One pathway, I believe 29 leading up to Hod, and pathway 32, 31 leading straight up the center, or that'd be 32, I believe, to Yesod, and 29, 28 leading up to Netzach. And so you have these three doors within the astral temple that lead outward and onward and upward. And then you could start to utilize the schemata of the uh, the Kabbalah of wizardry, right? The tree of life as set forth, the 10 Sephiroth, and then moving up through individuated chambers and pathways leading to each of those chambers. Now you're getting into real magical pathworking, right? So he's kind of alluding to it here, but he wasn't initiated at this point. I, in fact, initiated him into the Hermetic Order of the Golden Dawn as a neophyte, and it was after this hypnoapotheosis. We did hypnoapotheosis, and then we did Pathways of the Magi. And it was during Pathways of the Magi that he underwent his first magical initiation and became Frater, right? Frater Hypnosis.
from there, move into another space where there's even deeper relaxation. And that way, you can very easily find yourself turning off all the major muscle groups in the sense, turn it down and relax deeply. And then your mind will be more open because it's a place of healing. It's a place of resources. It's a place of love and care and comfort.
And notice too, through like the Ericksonian method of hypnosis, they use these quantifiers and qualifiers, right? You're doubling your relaxation. You're increasing your relaxation by twofold, right? And doubling it again. And so by signaling the mind these key ideas of doubling and tripling the relaxation, um, you you can really program the mind to let go. I mean, essentially what you're doing is you're letting go of the critical factor. You're letting go of the sense of control, and you're allowing yourself to go to even deeper states of mind and spirit, right? And so that's essentially what's happening, what's going on here. We have a troll in the ideas room, guys. Hey, I'm okay is out here trolling for my ribeyes, and they say save all animals, go vegan. But what about the fruits and vegetables, right? Like, are you just a fruit head or are you also a veggie head? Because when you rip those vegetables, the carrots, up out of the ground, I hear them screaming in torment and agony. And then when you take your knife, your vicious knife in your blenders, and you serrade their flesh, whether it be skinning a potato and boiling them alive, or slicing off their foliage and chopping them up. Oh my God, the torture, the agony, the pain that you put all of those vegetables through, and then processing them into vegetable proteins like fake meats and stuff. I mean, there is no greater savage than a veggie head. Absolutely. I mean, good God, an animal's going to die anyway, right? So you might as well go ahead and make it a kosher sacrifice so that people can benefit from all the hard work that it put in transforming those grasses and those grains into a readily available source of protein. That's what we're meant to do, right? We're meant to have that delicious, succulent ribeye and chicken wings. Have you even ever had like KFC? Oh my God, what a perfection in creation of chicken meat, right? Have you ever seen how evil a fucking chicken is, man? Like you say, save the animals, you say go vegan. But if I put you out in the field, like on the farm with pigs, they would absolutely eat you from head to toe in a matter of like 30 seconds. They would just tear you apart limb from limb and ingest you. I mean, what an ass backwards thing to say, right? To be a veggie head. What an evil thing. What a treacherous, nefarious thing to try to do. To try to kill off all of humanity with this political culture of like death and destruction, devitalization of the human body and spirit, right? Basically turning your bones into brittle like paper almost and just devitalizing all sense of even being human. What an upside down asinine thing to do. Yeah, plants do have consciousness, and all these veggie heads out there just sacrificing them day in and day out rather than taking that direct um easily assimilatable protein of meat of genuine animal proteins. I mean, it's really a backwards thing. What a tragedy. What an ill-educated, ignorant statement to make in the Frank Monday channel. Ain't gonna happen. Ain't gonna happen. I'm gonna go throw a ribeye on the grill right now, a little salt and pepper, and just get in it.
So that's one way of doing it. Sections, room by room, or space by space. Doesn't have to be a room. Could be from a beach, moving into a beautiful desert at night, and then from there moving into a forest, or even
Yeah, a beautiful. Imagine you're out on a beautiful beach scene, like a desert type beach scene, and you've got the grill set up, right? You got the charcoals on there. You've got your igloo cooler with some nice ribeyes and some delicious cans of beer, and you take out one of those juicy, succulent steaks. It's already been marinated, and you throw it up on the grill. A couple of minutes on either side. Then set it down on a nice ceramic plate. You got a sharp, gorgeous steak knife with a fork, and you just slice into it, and the juices, oh, just ooze out of it. And you put one of those sliced fillets, still piping hot, and it's got a nice smoky crust on it. Maybe you butter glazed it or something. Oh God, a little piece of rosemary to kind of finish it off there at the end. Wow, what a thing, right? And then just wash it all down with a cool can of your favorite beer. Maybe you like Anheuser-Busch, the king of beers. You never know. You might have Heineken in the bottle. You might sit back and fire up a decent Cuban. Oh, the intoxicating aroma of good tobacco, well brewed beer, and a grilled ribeye. Ain't nothing like it, man. Ain't nothing like it. Yeah, that's heaven on earth right there, baby. Hearing the waves roll up on the shore, the beautiful full moon out over the whole scene. You just spent a full day surfing, hitting the waves, had a nice little shower at the public shower there, and you're just chilling, man, wrapped up in a beach blanket. Someone's playing a guitar nearby. Maybe they're playing Santana's Smooth, right? Who knows, man? Something wonderful is going to happen though. There's some what are those manzanita bushes filled with fireflies, and some little kid runs through the bushes, and all the fireflies scatter into the night sky. What a beautiful thing, man! Just enjoy it, revel in it.
even moving from season to season. You start in spring, you're moving into summer, into autumn, into winter, and find yourself in spring again. So you've moved through the whole year, and throughout the whole year, you have experienced the beauty of nature and the natural cycle of things, much like you and yourself in your own body, moving through cycles. Scars are healing, and you are growing as a person. So by sectioning off, you can drift deep and work on yourself.
Yeah, he's taking you through the whole fourfold tetragrammaton name of God and plane of Malkuth right there, right? Like you've got spring, summer, fall, and winter, and going through the whole cyclical changes of the environments and whatever natural environment that you enjoy most, right? And like I said, that deepening sense of relaxation, having a full belly of whether it be beef steak or if you enjoy roast chicken with lemon spice, or maybe you like filleted fish, right, on over an open fire. Grilling outdoors under the starlight seems to be a really magical thing. But maybe you're more of an indoor creature, right, and you'd rather see yourself in front of the oven, right, with a Christmas turkey or a Christmas ham, roasting away over a Yule log or something like that. Or maybe you're more of the gung ho go getter, get your protein straight with like 5 raw eggs with a shot of tequila in it, and you just mix it up and throw it back, and you're ready to fucking pump iron. Whatever it is, whatever internal visual process alleviates you of that dire guilt of killing the vegetables, because you don't have to kill them. You don't have to murder the carrots, you don't have to boil the potatoes alive. You can choose the other thing. You can be more paleo like your ancestors and enjoy that fresh, succulent, life affirming animal proteins that are so important for people to stay alive and stay healthy. Yeah, what a wonderful.
Very good. Thank you, Thomas. I really like the idea of the naturalness of incremental change and gradual progression with the analogy of through the seasons and especially across thresholds. That seems to be passing through gates and going beyond thresholds is definitely something we do a lot in guided imagery for magic and when we focus on those types of things like visualization.
Right. Yeah.
And then those deeper levels of relaxation that certainly can bring about those altered states of consciousness that will be most serviceable to us. Another thing I would like to ask is there any way that a practitioner can gauge their process as they learn and practice these activities? And the other thing, in doing that, maybe
Okay, I said so gauge the process, but I meant gauge your progress. So, like, when you're endeavoring to learn something like self-hypnosis and you're going through these various steps in the process, what I meant to say was how do you gauge your progress? Like, how do you know when you're making gains? Like you're achieving deeper levels of relaxation, you're establishing well-worn pathways towards productive change and development, and you're getting greater command of your own facilities and your future, right? Because we're all interested in the future. And one part of my future is this whole Frank Monday buy me a coffee page, and you might want to go over there and check out the offerings I've got there. I got a lot of free things. I got behind the scenes pictures. I've got a Discord you can join, and all it takes is a one-time coffee purchase, a one-time donation, and that'll put the lead in old Frank Monday's pencil. But yeah, I meant to say, how do you gauge your progress? So let's find out and see what his
do
response
you
is.
think that keeping a journal is relevant and important? And if so, like how might someone go about that? What would be the items they would include So how do we gauge our progress? And do you think journal keeping would be helpful?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I mean, if you think of it as I'd hate to make this analogy perhaps, but think of it as a project, think of it as a project where you have a goal in mind, and the goal could be a gradual change into being a better student, right? It could be to be more assertive. It could be to manage your pain management. It could be that you want to be perhaps improve your health by automatically choose healthier food or something like that. I mean, whatever change that you're trying to create in your life, number one, work on one thing at a time, right? Very, very important. If you work on one thing at a time, you'll find that you're getting closer to it, perhaps, and getting closer to it will allow you to see how those changes are happening. So let's say that you want to sleep better. How would you do that? Well, how would you figure that out? You have a journal, you write down exactly what's going on. You track your sleeping times, you track your bedtimes, you track your quality of sleep. You measure your energy levels throughout the day. These things are par for the course to see how you're improving or not, because obviously we occasionally have setbacks, and that's fine, right? It's a work in progress. Your whole life is a work in progress, so just get used to it, right? So
Yeah, that's right. So your whole life, in the magical tradition, we call the magnum opus or the great work. And you don't want to lose sight of that. You want to keep in mind that your entire life course, it has all of these threads from the past that are interweaved in the essential central moment, and you're moving forward into this diverse, multifaceted future where you don't know if you're going to go left, right, or center. Yeah. And so you have to choose these paths. And ultimately, the distinction you want to make is that you're choosing the golden light paths forward, those paths forward that make the best of your understanding and your wisdom and your resources and your knowledge and your physical life force and your investment and that return on investment. You want to be making those choices which lead to the greatest returns for your interaction in the world, with yourself, with your family. And those are what I call the golden light choices, and that's why I formulated the golden light meditation around this principle. And it's available on buymeacoffee.com, and you can check it out. It's just a single document. It's like 4 pages long in a PDF. And I think I charge like $1 for it or something, maybe $2. And yeah, it's really good magic. And it's a meditation that I learned in the early part of my career, and from the Shingi Martial Arts Institute a long time ago. Yeah, great conversations. Look forward to being back. Many thanks. Yeah, thanks to you, Brian Roy. Thanks for stopping by. Thanks for participating in the Ideas Room. Good, super sexy, intelligent people out there in Happy Land like Brian Roy tuning in. He gets it. He knows that plants have consciousness. He knows that slicing them up, frying them, and blending them is a painful thing, even more painful for vegetation, which can live an extremely long life. Like, for example, guys, you think about a tree or a carrot or something of this nature, which has no defenses whatsoever, right? It's entirely guileless. It doesn't get up and move about and shit and run around the yard or anything. It just sits there, guileless, innocent. Yeah, like a tree. A tree can live 300, 400, 500 years. And these veggie heads, they come in and they saw it down with like lusty vigor, just thrashing away at their roots and their foliage. And they uproot them. They just pull them out of the ground with a malicious intent of consuming them. And they don't take into consideration that they're the most defenseless among us, right? The berries are meant for the birds, the grains are meant for the cattle, and none of those things have the ability to buck back, or fucking kick the occasional farmer in the head. But those animal proteins, those succulent meats, those bovine creatures and poultry and their eggs and so on and so forth, those are what are meant for the next level of life. And they have horns, they have intention, and they have very short lives, most of them. A chicken, just a few years, maybe 4 or 5, right? A cow, maybe 12 or 15 at most. So they're meant in their entire life cycle to provide their delicious energy for the human being. Whereas, like, again, the vegetations, the grasses, the grains, those things have very, very long, slow life cycles, and entirely herbivoric creatures. They have multiple stomachs. They have a very, very long intestinal tracts, and they can process those things in a gentle, benevolent way that we can't do. We can't do that. And so they really have it all backwards. And I feel sorry for the great sins and tragedies that they commit in the fields with their, a lot of their agrarian habits and their veggie-headed message. Like it's really, really dire, man. It's so insidious, in fact, that I think it might be one of the more evil expressions of humanity, and we need to put an end to it at some point. But that's neither here nor there. Let's continue with the message of hypnosis and reaching to greater heights and spiritual cultivation.
Uh, one of the things that you can do, number one, what methods do you use in self-hypnosis? So you can try the different ones we've talked about, the Elman, the fractionation, eye fixation, staircase. There are several ways to go into trance. And then if you make a recording for yourself, you can write down how you respond to your own suggestions, your own hypnotic voice that you keep on developing. So if you're writing down, what is your goal? What is your daily form? What is the result of this session? Or what is the result after each week? Give yourself 5-6 days to work through a program and gauge the results. And sometimes the differences and the changes are very subtle.
Yeah, like we can take the example of being a fascist, degenerate veggie head, and we could bring those people back to the pure realm of animal proteins. And so, if you are a vegan, right, and you're a veggie head, and you've engaged in this criminal behavior, this like criminal slaughter of the vegetable kingdom, and you stand at like the threshold of life and death, and you're being judged by very powerful entities like myconoids and mushroom entities and stuff, who really look poorly upon this type of thing, then you might want to gradually shift away from that and introduce some very basic animal proteins. Maybe start with some beef jerky, right? You could be just rolling through the gas station and say, hey, maybe I'll pick up a pack of beef jerky and try to wean myself off of the slaughter of innocent vegetables, and I'll do away with that sinful aspect of my personality where I feel like I have to lord it over other people, right? I have to lord this almost satanic message of villainous debauchery over the rest of humanity, and I'm trying to usurp their natural heavenly kingdom of being engaged in natural law and the natural progression of energies from the mineral kingdom to the vegetable kingdom to the animal kingdom to the human kingdom. And I've put myself in the dirt, like maybe you consider yourself a dirt monkey or I don't know what the hippie people, the barefoot and running around in the dirt. And you like to think of you're witchy or something like that, right? And you've really reached a point of where like you have a great void of human emotion, and you think of yourself as almost like a vegetable entity. You're in a vegetable state because all you consume is vegetables. And you could start to wean yourself off of that and reintroduce some of the more pure, benevolent animal proteins. Like I said, beef jerky would be a good way. You might use a dried fish that could be introduced into your diet, and you could start slowly replacing some of that, some of that, some of that sacrificial energy where you've violated natural law, and bring yourself back in line with a more rational path. But I don't know, it's up to you.
So you might not notice them day one, but you might notice them on day 7, day 10. So work on it until you get a change. And sometimes the change might surprise you, right? Because if you're working on perhaps releasing trauma, for example, something bad happened to you, you want to let go of it. And one day you realize that you've gone like 3 hours without thinking about it because you found ways to distract your mind when you go back into automatic negative thoughts, like self-talk and stuff like that. So all of a sudden you're like, oh, wow, I went a whole day. And that is a victory. And if you don't log your victories, if you don't write your
Yeah, it's absolutely a victory, right? Like, imagine again, you're rolling through the gas station, you go in and you pick up a Slim Jim or a packaged sausage, and you log that in your journal. And you say, okay, today I introduced a pork sausage into my diet, and in fact, I felt an entire hormonal release of additional chemicals, and I could feel my arms and legs again, and I actually had thoughts, like inspired thoughts. I felt love for my fellow man rather than trying, to end humanity and thinking of mankind as a parasite because of this vegetable centered diet where I just wanted to murder all of the rest of humanity. And I had this little pork sausage, and suddenly I saw a baby run by, and it had like little sausage fingers, and I felt great joy in that. And you could write that down in your journal, and then like maybe 10 or 15 days later, you try a little slice off of a ribeye, and you're like, oh my God, I had the best sex I've ever had with my partner. And I was lusty and just, getting in there, licking it and sucking it and just stroking it. And I felt like, like I felt like a human being again. Can you fucking believe it? My eyes cleared up. I could take off my glasses suddenly just from a single slice of a USDA prime beef ribeye. And I was alive once again, and my hair started growing back in, and it was unfucking believable. And then 100 days later, you're out on the beach grilling and having a beer, and you got additional kids, and you're enjoying life again. You're laughing, all of the wrinkles have left your face, and the dark bags under your eyes are gone, and your muscles are growing again. I mean, what a wonderful thing. God, if we can save veggie heads from this destitute diet of debauchery, then what a thing that would be. If I could just bring one veggie head back into the animal kingdom, then that would be a win. It'd be a huge fucking win.
your victories and your changes in your journal, you might not know that you have actually established a new pattern and you have actually found a new way of improving your life. 3 months later, you haven't written it down. You don't have, it might have gone from your short-term memory. It's no longer relevant. So by logging in a journal what you're doing and what's working, you're getting closer to finding new patterns, new behavior for yourself.
Fantastic. I really like the idea of journaling being useful and itemizing it, because I agree in that. I think it's important to gauge your progress in learning and to track your growth. Having those goals up front is going to make it all that more achievable. You know, it's like setting out, if the analogy of sailing, right? If you set out without a destination, well, you're not going to end up anywhere. But if you have those goals firmly before you, then it'll give you the opportunity to adjust your technique, your method, whether you're using the eye fixation, the fractionations, the stairwell, staircase. And I think all of those are
I forgot about fractionation. I'll have to look this one up again because this was a hypnotic term that I didn't fully assimilate or learn completely, and I need to. I need to integrate this one into my practice. Fractionation, what was that? I think it's the division of the conscious attention factor so that like when you split it, it's no longer solely analog, that you can make it into a more digital type thing, like expanding the floodlight or the expanding the spotlight into the floodlight type of aspect of focus. But I forget. I'll have to definitely check the algobots to see what they have to say about that.
super helpful. Uh, right. Yeah. I really think that that's a good way to go about it. And I might even add that you could set down some other items when you're journaling, like recording some of your emotions or maybe the weather or quantitative things that you think might do. But that's, you know, that's neither here nor there. We do that in magic. The next thing I want to get into, Thomas, is a little bit more advanced hypnotic techniques and understanding those a little bit for the more advanced practitioner. So could you explain what you think?
Okay, yeah, good magic. So here's where we're going to get into it, guys. This is the last part of the video. I think there's about 10 minutes left in the next video. So let me go ahead and get it queued up for you. And I hope you're enjoying the transmission this evening, afternoon or morning, wherever you may be out there in Happy Land. I hope you appreciate the work I'm going through because I got to cut up the video. This was an older video. Okay, yeah, we've got about 10 minutes left on the last video. Let me see if I correctly exported it and can upload it now. But yeah, this is the good magic, man. Again, this video comes from Hypnoapotheosis. It's on the playlist here on the Frank Monday channel, so you can check it out. Just go into playlists here on Frank Monday and then look for Hypnoapotheosis. And that has the entire package. I think there's like 20 or 25 videos in that playlist. And so me and beloved Frater Tomas Sund, Sund, God rest his soul and rest in peace, Thomas, until I fucking necromantically pull you up from the depths of your death and question you for as to why you left, right? Which I have been engaged in trying to do. Maybe I'll dream about him tonight, right? It's been a while. He hasn't come back. He's one of the only people that has passed beyond the veil that hasn't paid me a visit. So I find that a little bit spurious. Did he really, in fact, die, or did he fake his death? Right? You never know. You never know. Sometimes people fake their death, man, just to get out of certain situations. So it's processing now. It's at about 25%. Guys, it's going to take about a minute. I'll go ahead and blurb the channel. Make sure you guys check me out on buymeacoffee.com/Frank Monday. Put a little something in the tip jar. That'll keep the lead in my pencil. I am broadcasting to you today from Twilight Zone, Old Peking, deep within the central kingdom of the Celestial Dragon, right? Far behind the bamboo firewall in the center of the Orient and Old Tartaria, right? The Tartarian kingdom. And yeah, I'm hard at it, man, guys. I'm trying to get the good magic done for you so that you can enjoy the quality of transmission. We're at 62% on that video now. We'll go ahead and we'll do a little comedic break.
Person walks up to Easy E and says, "Hey, nigga."
Nigga, that nigga, please.
Depends on how you say it.
Who was your
Like
nigga
you say, what's up,
last
nigga?
year?
Then that's cool. But if you just say, nigga, then I'm gonna take it different. I might be over there, you be pulling me off of it, you know?
Now, if a white person walks up to Eazy-E and says, "Hey, nigger,"
Depends on how you said it. Like if you say, "What's up, nigga?" Then that's cool. But if you just say, "Nigger," then I'm gonna take it different. And I might be over there, you be pulling me off of it, you know?
I think that's so funny. Yeah, I met Easy when I was a kid, and I had never experienced any form of like white racism against colored folks. The only racism I ever experienced was colors against whites. And so whenever you heard, "Hey, Whitey," you knew that it was time to run, you know, that a gun was going to be going off or you were going to get jumped by ICG or Blood Kingdom or the Crips or the 18th Street Latinos or some other set of gangsters that dwelled within the inner city of Los Angeles. And so it was really crazy to me, like when I got into school, like probably junior high or high school, and they're like, "Yeah, all the racism was from white folks." And I was like, "Motherfucker, have you ever been outside? You know, you've had your head in a book for the last 20 years. Have you ever been on the street? You think that the whites are racist? God damn, you got your head up your ass, motherfucker." So yeah, fun times, man. It's always good to see my old brother from another
Constitute
mother.
a
Oh,
more
Easy E.
advanced
I'm from
technique in hypnosis.
POTPM Compton, biatch. Let's see what we got here. Advanced hypnotic techniques,
Sure.
nesting. Yeah,
Let's
good
talk
stuff. Russian
about
nesting dolls, guys. Yeah, so this is the last part of the video, guys, and this one's going to get into some more advanced techniques. So if you've been with me through the entire transmission this evening, we're going into 2 solid hours now. We're going to go ahead and finish it off, and I may or may not give a little commentary here towards the end. But again, you can find this on Hypnoapotheosis, the 100-day challenge here on the Frank Monday channel.
The first things that come to mind would be nesting, post-hypnotic suggestions, perhaps analgesia or anesthesia. Analgesia is the absence of pain, and anesthesia is the absence of sensation, right? You can. So let's talk about nesting. Nesting is the idea that you are hiding, perhaps, in the sense that let's think of having a framework, having a story, perhaps, right? Last year, I went on a holiday. I went to the beach, right? And I was spending a week by the ocean, enjoying the beautiful weather, walking on the sand, hearing the sound of the seagulls and the ocean. It was beautiful. And while I was there, I was enjoying some of that lovely food, and I could feel how that wonderful food, and it just made me put me in such a healthy state of body and mind. And because I was feeling so.
Yeah, notice that, right? Okay, so take it step by step. The first section of that, you had a holiday you went on where you were enjoying the natural environment, whether it be the beach or the hotel with the pool and the spa, or maybe you went on a desert hike or a mountainous adventure into the wilderness, whatever that was. And then you had got the elk or the deer or whatever it is, you know, you were by the kebabs and you were enjoying some of that wonderful health reaffirming food that invigorates the body and creates real genuine strength within a human being.
Was feeling so good, I went out dancing one night. And when I was there, I met a lovely family. And this family, I sat down, I had a drink with them. We were talking about why they spent their holidays there and why I came to this beach resort. And they say, well, we're teaching our children about enjoying life, right?
Right. And you start to see how this works. Like, this is really just like a deeper level of gratitude for everything that the cosmos benefits you with. Yeah, these are the higher aspects of human culture, the family, retreat, nourishment, right? Revelry, entertainment, these things that we truly enjoy and work towards. I mean, fuck, what do you what do you get from an entire week of drudgery, with your nose to the grindstone and the day-to-day grind and all the vicissitudes of human life that you have to endure, if it isn't for those magical, mystical moments where it really matters and you're able to finally enjoy.
Right here, right now, they can simply just learn to let go, make new friends, enjoy life. And I believe that will make them better people. I believe that will make them into the people that will be wonderfully well-adjusted people in society, and at the same time do some wonderful things for themselves in the future, even when we are no longer here. That's what the parents were talking about. So they were talking about giving their children a chance to be themselves and enjoy life. And that stayed with me. So I kept on dancing. I met some other lovely people. We had a wonderful time. The rhythms were moving me, and I, built up a sweat. And then late at night, I went back to the ocean. I took a swim. And then when I moved into my bungalow, sat down, just enjoying that feeling of having had a wonderful day. And then I went to sleep. And the next day, just kept on enjoying my time before I had to go to the airport and fly back home again. So that's nesting, or it's an example of nesting where you have a framework story of being in a place, moving into a different place. And in there, I told you a story about a family. And the hypnotic suggestion that I wanted to give you was what the parents were saying about the lessons that the children can learn. That is also an appeal to authority, because the parents know what's good for their children generally, right? So you're looking at a person who has a plan.
And just real quick to deviate from that, debaters will say, oh, an appeal to authority or an appeal to credibility, this might be a logical fallacy. But in fact, it's not. It's how we transmit genuine wisdom from lifetime to lifetime. And, like imagine a kid on the playground and another kid grabs up an earthworm and he says, I'm gonna rip this worm in half, you eat half, I'll eat half. And the other kid says, hey, my mom told me not to eat worms, not to eat bugs, not to take fucking candy from a stranger or something. That's one of the highest authorities in your life. And in fact, the name of your mother, the image of your mother is one of the most powerful things in the spiritual kingdom, right? Imagine when you're in the throes of a nightmare, you call out for your mom. When people are, like inebriated and get beat down and arrested by the police for doing something wrong, for one of the first things they do is cry out to their mother. And so this source origin of humanity, where you came from, right? The impetus of your father, the big bang of creation, and then your gestation and birth into the world, it comes through your parents. And this is something that's been highly vilified by the modern world and the modern intelligentsia, to uproot us from our natural source, like the veggie heads, they're out there trying to kill people's moms and stuff. It's not fucking cool, man. They don't have any children of their own. They come from broken families. They destroy their families, and they're not engaged in the reality of creation and the creative process. They're engaged in destruction. And it's one of the greatest evils that we have to face in the modern world. Even greater than, Trump sitting up there eating his Big Macs and stuff. Um, at least he gets it, He might be a villain, but at least he's not fucking engaged in the kind of debaucherous sacrifice of humanity upon the throes of this new green agenda.
Plan to make their children's lives wonderful. But as I'm telling you this story and I plant that suggestion in the middle and then I move out of that story again, it sort of disappears into your into your subconscious, because it's not about you, but I know it's about you. I want you to learn to enjoy life a little bit more. I want you to both be well adjusted in society and at the same time do some wonderful things for yourself. You can have both. So that suggestion is planted inside a larger framework, which is planted inside a smaller framework. And then finally, the suggestions are there.
Yeah, so he's going to go on to say, I believe that this is an advanced technique, and you can see how this nesting of the ideas, like a Russian nesting doll, is kind of slipping it past the guardian at the gate, right? The lurker at the threshold, the critical factor, that attention factor within the mind that observes and captures everything in real time, an analog function, and tries to prevent its entry into the subconscious mind where it can be assimilated at a deeper level and even reach the level of instinct. And so, like, if we use the analogy of kung fu training, you train for a day, you've got the basic techniques mastered, you can imagine them and visualize them. You train for 10 days, and suddenly you have an instinctive reaction for the body to move in this direction of its own volition. You train for 100 days, and suddenly the body is starting to guide the mind, and you can make more careful, articulate observations of how your fist moves as you throw it from your hip and make a half step and make connection, right? And at this point, after 100 days, after a less than a year of training, you'll start to feel some of what we call kung fu power, or to administer energy, the fa jing, as it ripples through the body in a wave. But imagine after 10,000 days of doing that single movement, 10,000 repetitions, now the spirit is integrated. The spirit guides the mind, and the mind guides the body, and the entire circulation ripples from this realm into realms beyond. And you can feel it at such a powerful level that it will not only transmit through you, but it will transmit through future generations. And that single strike that you're delivering now will be felt 100 years from now, even 1,000 years from now, because the technique and the method are eternal, right? Now you see where it's going, right? I hope you do, Wayfarer. I hope you realize the magic.
Advanced hypnotic technique that I quite enjoy, and which is easy to sort of like work into a story that you tell, because stories are very hypnotic in general, right? So that's one.
Yeah, so stories are Kabbalah, right? The oral transmission. That's the original teaching. The way we transmitted energy around the campfire, right? With the elk roasting up there on the spit. And that's how we got it done. That's how we continue humanity into the present.
Another thing, of course, is I talked about anesthesia and analgesia, the absence of pain. If you've had like a toothache at any point in life, you want to know how to get rid of it. So,
Oh, good God, there's nothing worse than a toothache, right? I mean, what could even compare to the actual visceral pain of a bad tooth? And I know you guys know that I got a couple of bad teeth, and visiting the dentist is no kind of fun.
you can imagine while you're in a trance, you can imagine plunging your hand into a bucket of icy water, or maybe you go outside in winter perhaps and you make snowballs, but you don't have gloves, but little by little your hands are fading away almost, right? Kind of like when you're falling asleep on your arm and your arm is like all pins and needles that you can't feel it, but it's there. It's you can see your hand, but you can't feel it. It's almost like it's not your hand anymore, right? So it's completely numb. Now you can put this very, very numb hand on your jaw and allow that numbness to flow from your hand into your jaw. And inside a hypnotic state, that's very, very easy to do. It's like effortless. Just allow that numbness, that absence of feeling, absence of pain to flow into a place where you need it. So that is a way to work with analgesia. Very similar techniques have been used for hypnobirthing, women who want to give birth and they don't want drugs, they just want to do it hypnotically. That's a common technique as well.
Wow, yeah, that's good magic right there. That's like sympathetic magic. So you create the sensation within the body and then you transfer it to another center. I really needed this. This message comes at a very timely and appropriate because I had two crowns done not long ago, but I've got another one that needs to be pulled and or treated in some way, and I'm gonna have to deal with that. And so it's been disturbing my sleep recently, and overcoming that pain and that sensation in a natural way. What a magical thing. And in fact, just listening to that brief 1 minute long dialogue on the technique, I was able to alleviate it entirely and eliminate it. So, yeah, again, good magic, man. We're really, really learning something here.
Finally, post-hypnotic suggestions, they are very, very useful because you are in a trance state and you want to experience the benefits of being in a hypnotic trance after you leave the trance as well. So you can, inside a hypnotic
Oh, okay. Wow. Yeah, I remember that's the end of the video there. The next couple of techniques that we discussed were on the next video. Like I left it on a cliffhanger, and I think I finished off the video with a little bit of a canter, maybe a prayer or something like that. But yeah, so you'll just have to go find the video on hypnoapotheosis, the 100-day challenge here on the Frank Monday channel, guys. I thank you for stopping by. I appreciate y'all being here. Whoever you are, wherever you are, and whenever you may be receiving this transmission, if you have the opportunity, go over to Buy Me a Coffee / Frank Monday and check out the offerings I have there. There's a lot of essays and articles and different behind the scenes pictures and stuff. And you can connect with me on the Discord at Lunar Light Entertainment. But yeah, good fun, good magic. I appreciate y'all being here. 2 hours is quite a show. It's quite a thing, really. And I really appreciate the opportunity to spend time with you, Wayfarer, wherever you are, whoever you are, and whenever you receive this transmission. I've been broadcasting to you tonight from the Central Kingdom of the Celestial Dragon here in Twilight Zone, Old Peking, far behind the bamboo firewall, deep in the Orient, at the capital of Old Tartaria. I got a big book on maps, man, that I'm going to be looking into soon and sharing with you. And yeah, so just keep doing good magic, man, and I'll see you in the abodes of the future ad astra per asperum. And Wayfarer, get out there and touch grass and fucking carpe diem, right, man? Seize the day, get it done. Learn some meditation, learn some hypnosis, learn a little ceremonial magic, put some ritual in your life, put some lead in your pencil, some pep in your step, a little vim and vigor in life. There's nothing wrong with that, you know. Let go of vexation and worry and angst, all that fucking shit they're trying to program you to suck the loosh out of you, you know, to get the beloved creamed corn of Garmin Bozia from your life force, man. Don't let them do it. Cast off the demons and join people on the right side of the fight, man. Stay away from Team Evil. Those guys are bad news, man. I love y'all, good looking, sexy people. I'll see you in the abodes of the future. Until then,